Mr. Noor, you're an anti-Palestinian bigot. You're an anti-Palestinian bigot. You promote religious and ethnic supremacy in Israel. You promote religious and ethnic supremacy in Israel. You should be. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I'm not doing it. You promote free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
All right, we're going to be back shortly with Yves Engler. Stay tuned. We have our favorite independent journalist, author, activist online, Yves Engler. Hello, Yves.
How's it going?
It's going really well. Yves, I heard about a few things that you've been up to lately. You always used to be like such a really good role model for me, Yves. I used to look up to you, and now it's getting out of hand, I think. So what we're talking about is, I think, Yves, you're a really good writer. I always wanted to emulate you, and you know, you're very articulate. But it's very difficult for you to be articulate if people punch you in the face.
It is difficult. That is true.
So, what's going on, Yves? You're taking it to the next level, or what? Are you still playing hockey? Are you in your hockey phase?
Yeah, it's been a while since saying this to friends. It's been a while since I've been playing with my 5-year-old. That I've been punched, but unfortunately, last week when I went to an event that Alnoor, the executive director of UN Watch, and a very aggressive anti-Palestinian activist, when I stood up and I said that he was an anti-Palestinian bigot and that he supported ethnic and religious supremacy in Israel, audience members grabbed me. The main organizer came basically running across the room, or moving quickly across the room, and security grabbed me and they threw me out of the room in a very aggressive manner. And then the main organizer punched me pretty hard in the stomach while I was being held by security. Broke my glasses, took my phone. At the edge of the lobby, the main organizer said that they take me outside and kick me in the head. And I was taken outside. Fortunately, I wasn't kicked in the head, but I was held about 20 so minutes, illegally, of course. They took my wallet. They had my phone for a whole time. A guy came out. Well, first of all, security decided I needed to be sitting down at the top of the stairs, chucked me to the ground, and then a couple minutes later, a guy came out and punched me in the head, and I was detained for 20 plus minutes.
Oh my God.
All for raising my voice. Arguably, you could say what I did was rude. Clearly, I disrupted. I interrupted a speaker, but it, of course, is totally illegal to, well, first of all, even to physically remove me is illegal, and certainly to do so in a manner as violent as they did, and they tried to erase the video from my phone. They deleted it, and they permanently deleted it, and it wasn't until the next day. So, in fact, my father downloaded a video recovery program that I was able to recover the video, which, of course, has evidence of the assault on it, evidence of being manhandled, and presumably there is a video security camera at the facility.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's I think it's just I've done dozens of these political disruptions, and prime minister, ministers, opposition figures, leader of the Conservative Party, etc., and I've never had anything even approaching this level of violence. It was, I should state clearly, it was at a synagogue, and so some people might say that because it was at a synagogue, there's sort of different rules in place. it was a political event. It was not a religious event. I registered for the event. I got a ticket. I got an e-ticket. I have disrupted a political figure at a church. I disrupted Alnoor when he received an honorary degree from McGill University 4 years ago. A number of us interrupted the event. So some people will consider that sort of different dynamics. Legally speaking, there isn't. It should be viewed as nothing different than renting out a hall or some public venue that is hosting a political speaker.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it reflects the fact that there is certainly a sense of impunity.
Well, entitlement is another word that came to my mind.
Entitlement and impunity among Israeli nationalists, and I think that you see some of that playing out in Israel today, where you got a political party called Jewish Power getting the third most votes in a state that is already based upon Jewish supremacy. So you got dozens of laws that are already structured around upholding Jewish supremacy in Israel, and you have a political party that's basically saying this isn't enough. We need to be sort of openly fascistic, and I think some of that kind of thinking and ways of looking at the world trickles into Canadian Zionist circles, and I think that what happened to me was a very, 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 very small taste of what Palestinians often face at the hands of sort of vigilante so-called settlers in the West Bank and whatnot.
Wow, Yves, I didn't realize the extent of what you went through. So thank you for sharing that. First of all, are you okay? I'm guessing. Did you need medical attention?
No, I didn't need medical attention. It's still a week later. I have a bruise on my forehead from the punch. A little bit of scratches on my knees and stuff like that. But no, they broke my glasses, so some glue is going to hold them together for a little while. But I'll need to get new glasses. But no, I was definitely shaken up. It was a tad bit traumatic. But I also it's also correct to say that I did play junior hockey, and I've experienced other sort of physical kind of traumas that
Sure, fair enough. But nonetheless, I mean that's completely uncalled for and irresponsible of that to happen. So first of all, sorry to hear that. It shocked me. It must have been a very difficult experience for you to have gone through. Is there anything else you would like to share about this particular experience? Because it comes in a series of actions that I've seen folks like you and others who are committed to not just talking about these issues, but then taking it another step and challenging the powers that be and showing up to places where people are talking about these things.
Yeah, that's I think the more important dynamic politically is, we've tried to organize disruptions of ministers, politicians. We had a very successful disruption when Melanie Joly, Canada's foreign minister, and Anthony Blinken were in Montreal about 2 weeks ago. They tried to have a photo op at the Jean Talon Market, a well-known market in Montreal, and about 10 of us went shopping. We learned about it about 8 p.m. the night before, and it was doing a photo op the next morning at 10:30. And about 10 of us went shopping, and they tried to have a little photo op, and we basically within about 45 seconds, we made so much noise that they had to beeline it for a protected area away from the cameras, and we got tons of news stories that mentioned our opposition to Canada military intervention in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily was a primary issue that we were raising.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been doing these disruptions that I think are something that's very, very much underutilized, is that there's politicians, political figures across the country, particularly ministers, politicians, that they have the ability to convene media. They have staffs that organize these things. You've got the resources. The media come out, and oftentimes you can learn about them in advance. You can show up, and you can pass a political message, and you can take a lot or some of the message that comes out of those public events. And I think that when the corporate media just basically, particularly in foreign policy issues, just refuse to provide anything approaching balance or two sides or critical perspective, that showing up to press conferences and other sort of public events by politicians is a very effective way of breaking into the corporate media. But also there's a social media side to it, where people on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, they like watching, they like sharing sort of political confrontations, political challenges. So I film myself relaying a political message while the politician is right there, and it's whereas I can write an article and a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people will read. Doing it via with a politician there and putting some of the message, verbalizing some of the message, you can often get 100,000 people that will actually watch the clip on Twitter or other social media. So it's a kind of a social media amenable form of protest that again has in some situations has a very important kind of corporate media element to it, that you can break into the dominant media, but then there's also a sort of social media kind of side to it.
Yeah, no, thank you for articulating that. Very, very well said, Yves. So I wanted to now just segue over into Haiti. Actually, it was you who first introduced me to the Canadian context around Haiti. And since then, of course, I've been following your ongoing reporting on the country. And recently, there have been further, new, unnew, same old. I mean, the ball keeps rolling around there. So I'd like to start off by asking, what exactly is Canada's interest in Haiti or the Caribbean in general? So to bring it to the point where it has lobbied Caribbean countries to send military to any foreseeable sort of invasion of Haiti.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Canadian interest in the Caribbean, Canada has been a banking, insurance powerhouse, dominated banking insurance in the Caribbean, particularly the former British colonies, for more than a century, and that has its roots back to the trade for cod from the Atlantic provinces. Cod from the Atlantic provinces was used to the refuse fish, the lesser fish, was sent to keep slaves working 16 hours a day because the plantation owners didn't want to use land to grow food for the slaves, and they needed a source of high protein, cheap, salty meat, which was the cod. The good cod was sent to Europe, and the bad cod was sent to the Caribbean. And so that's the roots of this trade with that you can find the CIBC, Scotiabank, the early capital for setting up those banks comes out of that trade. And so there's major banking, there's just major Canadian economic interest in the English Caribbean for century.
Okay.
They actually tried to take, at the end of World War One, Ottawa tried to take the British colonies from London and make them Canadian colonies. But so there is a very significant economic history, and Canada's significant influence within the English Caribbean, particularly the small English Caribbean countries, since that time. With regards to Haiti, Canada has also been a banking force in Haiti since the American occupation of 1934, and Canada has been the second imperial power in Haiti clearly for the past 2 decades, and Canada has been, right at the center of obviously the overthrow of the elected government back in 2004, but basically undercutting Haitian sovereignty since that time. So now you have, to fast forward to today, you have a push for a foreign military occupation of Haiti, where you have Washington wanting to outsource that, and Canada is the primary, sort of leading, preferred force to oversee it all. But basically, Canada doesn't want to send large numbers of troops, and would like Caribbean countries to provide the policing and the military that would be overseen by presumably here Canadian commanders. So you have pressure from Washington for Ottawa to take on the job, and then Ottawa putting pressure on Caribbean countries to offer up troops. It's all being kind of stalled by the fact that the U.S. doesn't seem to have being basically blocked by Russia and China for a UN Security Council resolution, and the UN Security Council resolution is important to Ottawa, and I think it's also maybe even more important to the CARICOM countries. They don't want to provide troops without some sort of UN okay, so the mission seems to be stalled at this point. But from a Canadian perspective, what's important to understand is that I think a foreign military mission would be a bad thing, because it couldn't have some short-term benefits. There is real insecurity and gang problems in Haiti. But the main reason why a foreign military intervention is a bad thing is because it just further reinforces Haiti's primary problem, which is not a gang issue, which is not insecurity. It's that it lacks sovereignty, and it's the political problem is that the U.S. and Canada have too much influence in the country, and a foreign military intervention will just exacerbate that principal problem in Haiti. And so whether there is a foreign mission or not, Canada is dominating Haiti. We with the U.S. through the core group, we appointed the person who leads Haiti, and we did so through a tweet. Through a statement that was tweeted out, and then after the assassination of the president Jovenel Moïse about 18 months ago, this is the extent to which U.S. and Canadian power prevails in Haiti. There's a group called the Core Group of foreign ambassadors, with the U.S. and Canada leading it, have incredible influence over all facets of Haitian life. So you have a leader who has absolutely no constitutional legitimacy, has very, very little popular support, that has led to a continually deteriorating situation in Haiti, and we're the ones who put that person in place. And now we're saying that it's we're going to step in and deal with this problem, which is framed as like simply a Haitian problem, but our hands are all over creating the mess that this foreign military intervention is supposed to clean up. So Canadians need to understand that Canada is, whether there's a foreign military intervention or not, Canada's a force undercutting Haitian sovereignty and undercutting Haitian democracy.
And Yves, we're going to have to leave it there. Unfortunately, our time is up. Thank you once again for joining us. Yves, thanks for taking a punch for us, several punches. Always, you seem to always be getting into trouble. Next time, show up with some hockey equipment, or wear some guards or something. Hire bodyguards. I'm sure a bunch of us will love to come down. Thanks. We're looking forward to more of your writing and your new books that are, I'm sure, coming out. And folks can get information at yvesengler.com. Yeah.
And I'll be speaking.
Tell us.
On December 1st, at the I don't have the name right in front of me, but on December 1st, you can go on my website, yvesengler.com, and then under tour, I'm doing some events on the islands and in Vancouver on December 1st.
Awesome. Thank you so much for reminding us about those. They're really important for folks to come out to and engage with you and your work. Yves, it's always a pleasure to have you out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, and so we are going to be coming right back. You are listening to CFRO 100.5 FM. This is The Rational. This is the